now, Eiley, the sound of Millstreet Pipe Band.
I thought it was thrilling on the morning of St. Patrick's Day.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
it would really lift your spirits going into the church, and they marched up the middle then and played above. It was wonderful altogether. And you know, even the priest country, remarked on it.
Yes.
The fine crowd of young people who come forward to join the band.
3 young people that day. It was their first St. Patrick's Day parade ever.
Playing.
And there was Matthew, there was Caitlin, and there was also Owen. So well done, and for the
Matthew,
future
Caitlin
of Millstreet Pipe Band there. And Eiley, seeing that we're in St. Patrick's Week,
we'll wet
there
the
it
shower.
is. And we just like to emphasise it's water. It's water.
If you believe that, you believe anything.
And we're still in green. And look,
we are.
we're
Indeed,
still in
we're all
mighty
still in
green.
green.
aren't we? But Eiley, it's been an exciting week. And of course, welcome indeed viewers to programme
number
235.
235, I always
Programme
forget.
235 of LTV2 Millstreet. And last week you'll notice that we had a programme which was quite a mixture of programmes from the past. But this year we're up to date again now with fairly current news. Because
It has to be current this week anyway because of St. Patrick's Day parades.
Yes. And we're going to go to Corriganima and Millstreet for the St. Patrick's Day parade. That's going to be our main focus. But of course, talk about main focus on Friday night. Tomorrow night.
That is the main focus. So that is the main
Tell us more, Eiley.
The Millstreet 1000 Air by the GA Club in Millstreet Community Hall on Friday night. And is it a first time for that to come to Millstreet?
I would think so in
I think
Millstreet itself.
it's a first time in Millstreet. And
there you have a ticket there, Eiley?
I have indeed. This is the ticket. They're €15 each. And
a book of 4 for 50.
For 50, and do come along and support them because the GA do wonderful work for all our youth.
Yes.
At all levels of our youth, they do wonderful work. And of course, there are so many adults involved in it as well.
And I think some people, Eiley, get the impression that they'll have to appear on stage if their number gets picked out. But no.
We have tickets, Sean, but we've no nurse to go up there and try or look at that.
You can designate someone else to go up, or else you can ask the GAA to designate their own group.
You need only, put in your name.
Exactly.
And there's a little thing you'll tick then that if you're not going to come in and do the questionnaire yourself, then they'll get somebody to do it for you.
Exactly.
You can name somebody or you can allow them to do it themselves for you.
Yes.
So it is all very simple. You come along on Friday night. A great night is assured.
Absolutely.
So do please. Friday night. The 21st
of March. It's tomorrow night.
Yes.
Tomorrow night,
So
exactly.
there you are.
So now, Eiley, and what an exciting week. The St. Patrick's Day parade were so special. Did you notice a member of our LTV2 team had a very, very special tractor there?
Did you notice that? I got a picture of him going down the street.
Absolutely.
I did.
And we have a royal wave that we're going to see later on our programme itself. And of course it's the one and only Brendan Murphy.
Yes, indeed.
And he renovated all that tractor himself. He restored it, not just renovated it, he restored it from its very start. But he's going to tell us more about that
was a labour of love.
Shortly.
That was a labour of love.
Absolutely.
There you
But
are.
I'll be talking about a labour of love. Someone who certainly you created a mighty impression upon when we met her.
Come here to me. Tell us about your trip to Dublin. You're coming up to that now. Tell us about your trip to Dublin.
Well, actually, I happened to be in Dublin for, in fact, the convention of the Retired Teachers of Ireland. And by sheer chance, I happened to be, after the convention, I happened to be near St. Stephen's Green shopping centre and near Eason's. And it was gone 7 o'clock at night, and I wondered, how is it still open on a Tuesday night? Tuesday. But in fact, there was a very special reason, because as I passed, who did I see but Ryan Tubridy?
Our friend Ryan Tubridy.
Exactly, and a whole group of people, a huge group, a huge assembly of people, and then I noticed our very good friend, Evelyn O'Rourke. Now, Evelyn...
She was the lady who came around and did the talk with us. I gave her the tour of Kilmeady Castle.
Absolutely. And the wonderful person that was the presenter of the O'Sullivan Bear, A Great Journey, documentary.
That's right.
And it went down extremely well. So we met on the mountain that morning, you remember? And then you went to Kilmeady Castle and you gave a great insight, and I met her down near Dushan, and it was mighty.
Well, she was a lovely person.
Yes.
My little Noreen there at the castle, my little grandson's wife, she brought him in for the tea, and because she was a great fan of hers on radio, she couldn't believe that
Yes.
Evelyn was in her house. So that Evelyn did really endear herself to all of us when she was
and
there
of course,
that day.
Evelyn was the researcher for the Jerry Ryan show,
Yeah.
and present actually
And
at
of course
the
we were
book launch.
shocked a couple of weeks ago then when we heard her story.
Absolutely,
And that
we
she had
knew
been-
nothing about that.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
And apparently that was over her at that time.
Indeed.
When she came to us, she had been through all that.
Absolutely.
You'd
Now,
never guess.
the interesting thing, of course, it was actually the official launch of the book that night, and I just by sheer chance.
Well, I was
came upon
delighted
it.
when you told me that you stumbled
So
on it.
anyway,
I was delighted.
I
for
went
you,
over
Sean.
to get 2 books, one for yourself and one for myself. And when I went to meet with Evelyn, we had a big long queue because there was huge amounts of people there on the night, including many members of Jerry Ryan's family. And
yeah.
there was Joe Duffy. There was an awful lot of people from the media were
The
there,
media.
and great friends from many parts of Ireland. But when I got the actual book itself, then she of course wrote a very special message, and Eilidh, I'd like to present on air to yourself this very beautiful book called, of course, Dear Ross, and have a look and see what Evelyn wrote.
From our own Evelyn.
See what Evelyn wrote to you, Eilidh.
Oh,
have a look here now.
She
Have a
autographed.
look. Look at this.
Oh, she autographed it and all.
And what does it say, Eilidh?
Oh, I rather you would read it.
Well,
Come
we'll
on,
have to read it here. It says, Dear Eilidh, a vision in television pink. So gorgeous to meet you on that day. Love, Evelyn.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
And this was all signed in Eason's on the 11th of March 2014. And
oh, we must turn off the
we'll
camera.
have to show
I
it.
can't believe.
It's beautiful.
I can't believe
There
that
it is.
is the lovely Evelyn.
Absolutely.
Because she was lovely that day.
Well, Eilidh, you'll treasure that.
I will indeed. I will
very,
treasure
very special and
I'll
moving
read it
story.
and I will, that's the book anyway by Evelyn.
Exactly.
And telling her traumatic story.
And launched beautifully that night by Ryan Tubridy, who is a great, great friend.
Oh, it was
of,
launched by Ryan, wasn't
Right,
it? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a great, great privilege. But Eilidh, lots more to happen indeed on our programme. But as I say, this week we're going to focus very much on the one and only St. Patrick's Day week. Now, of course, we'll be meeting Brendan very shortly, and Brendan will give us different insights.
If he comes down out of the clouds after he's paraded through the town.
Exactly.
In his new uniform.
But Eilidh, I'm sure that in this week you have an amazing amount of news here to share.
We'll start with it anyway and we can get on with the rest of the programme after.
So at this particular point then, it's Eilidh's regional news.
Dias Maria Galera Carda and welcome to LTV2 News. And welcome to this on this wonderful St. Patrick's week. Thank God the weather was great on the day and on the previous days so that people had a great chance to prepare for the greatest event of the year. The greatest event indeed, I have to say, because St. Patrick is just a patron saint of Ireland, but his feast is celebrated all over the world. And in the very tiny island, West Indian island, it's called Montserrat. And it's celebrated there, it's about the size of Munster. And the St. Patrick's Day, the St. Patrick's celebrations go on there for a full week. So why shouldn't we celebrate? Meanwhile in Nebraska, the western town of Bradshaw had to hold their St. Patrick's celebration in 2 halves because the crowds were so big. They had held the first half on the 17th of March and the other one 6 months after, which they called Halfway to St. Patrick's Day. And many Irish bands and traditional musicians go there every year to take part. So who can blame us for celebrating? Our pipe band led the people into the church at 11:30 Mass on St. Patrick's Day, and the choir sang their hymns Os Gaeilge. All so uplifting. Canon John complimented them and praised the band on the number of young people who have come to join. Our cultist group played at the Vigil Mass on Saturday night, so it was a real musical weekend. Rathmore and Carriganimay held their parades on Saturday, and ours was in Millstreet at 5 o'clock on the 17th of March. It was a spectacular parade, and everybody in it was a winner, but there can only be the few. And here are the few results now that came from the parade. The best float went to the pub in Carriganimay. It was very good. The Culture Award went to Ballinagree. The best vintage went to the tractor sections. The best group, Millstreet Community Singers. Again, they were wonderful. Best hat went to Jim Broxton. Best buggy went to Michelle O'Keefe. We had a lot of new categories this year and they were great. The best pet went to Mona Pomeroy, and the best fleet to Coleman's. Extra prizes went to the Whistleblowers, to Brian O'Driscoll, and the best window went to Ashling. Now to continue today I send my very best wishes to Joan O'Riordan of Murphy's Terrace. She is to take part in Winning Streak on television on next Saturday night. Joan's a very lucky lady in recent times, having won a considerable amount in another lotto recently. We'll be all rooting for you Saturday night, Joan, and we hope you win the mill. Our weekly lotto draw was held at the Wallace Arms Hotel on Sunday night. Numbers drawn were 1, 17, 23 and 30, and the jackpot was not won. €100 went to Tom Hickey Killarney. The seller was Tom Carroll, and he got €50 seller's prize. €50 went to Nora McSweeney Altamount. 20 each to the O'Sullivan family Kilmeady. Jack Owen and Honor Tarrant of the Bridge Bar. Neva Mahoney Clara. Tony McCarthy of Clara Road, Dennis and Marie Toomey Station Road, Vera Kelleher Cantor, John Brosnan Drishan View, and Bridget Deneen of Drishan Road. Jackpot for next week is 8,800, and the draw will be at Tavern's Bar on Sunday night. Millstreet is fast becoming the town that never sleeps. There's a non-stop amount of events coming on the cards for the rest of the year. It's not easy to keep up with them all. Next Friday night, March the 21st, our GA Club will host a spectacular show, Who Wants to Be a Thousandaire. It's at the GA Hall starting at 8 o'clock. Tickets are €15 each, are at sale over a wide area from members and from the door at the door on the night. It's a show not to be missed. Proceeds go to our GA Club, which does wonderful work for people, young people, and great for all the older people who are involved in it. So please give them your best support on Friday night. The Walking Committee are holding a walking festival on April the 13th and the 14th. The Community Council are planning a sponsored walk in aid of the AstroTurf at Easter. April the 20th to the 23rd will see the great Millstreet Welcome Tour, and again it's on from the 17th until the 20th of April at the Green Glens, and more details about that later. 2014 European Pony Championships, July the 29th to August the 3rd. International Horse Show 2014 is from August the 12th to the 14th, and there's more. And this year also we welcome the return of the spectacular World Juggling competition on the 3rd week of July, which brings people from all over the globe. The National Dairy Show is booked at the Green Glens for the 18th of October, and the Pony Owner Show is on October the 24th, 5th and 6th. Self-Build show will be on November the 7th, 8th and 9th, 2014. There will be great demand for accommodation in Millstreet this year. Anybody who has good quality accommodation to offer, please contact the Green Glens at 029 70800 or contact the E-Centre at 087 901 9001. Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament in Cullen Church every Thursday from 10 until 7, and new adorers are welcome. If you'd like to join for an hour in the week, then you can contact Mary at 087 6805 448. Weekly weighing continues in Cullen every Monday night. Drumtarf ICA will host a speaker from Brú Columbanus. They held a talk from a speaker from Brú Columbanus during the week, and a great crowd attended. And that's I think about all from me, and I'll hand you over to the rest of the programme.
Well, early. Mighty lot of important news there.
And you know, that's only half of the things that's happening in Millstreet, Brendan.
Into the
You know
yeah.
that yourself.
Yeah.
That these are just the big things.
Yeah.
And you know, if I had a half an hour, I wouldn't be able to tell all the things. When you think of all the classes that go on at night, say the knitting club, the singing club, the games of cards, the bingo, all these things that go on in the town.
It's amazing.
It's amazing what goes on, and you know, people, you know, you hear people talking about their own town. Oh, sure, there's nothing on this town. But if you kind of dissect the thing and see the way people are working for the common good.
There's always something happening.
Yeah, you are.
Day and evening, like.
Yes, that's right. And that was a lovely parade we had this week.
Oh, it was an enjoyable parade, wasn't it?
You were in great style.
Oh, well, you can't beat it. When you go, like.
Oh, that was a great thrill for you. So you refurbished that tractor yourself?
I refurbished that tractor myself after a long while, like. I had that tractor in 43 pieces.
Wow.
When I had taken apart.
It looked well today that day going through the town.
I had a good bit of work in it, but there's a bit of work in it yet. It's not finished yet, but we'll get around.
You will indeed. Yeah. But that was, you know, the parade, it covered an awful wide range.
Oh yes, it was a fantastic parade, there's no doubt about it. And the beauty about the people that you meet, like.
That's right.
You know,
and I mean, needless to say, there was a lot of the floats, you know, remembering the storms and the
I mean, say that parade now today, the motor factors, they come from, the people in the motor factors, they come back from
from Cashlisle, Kerry, somewhere, yes.
Guinea or some place back there. They had 2 tractors there, they know that.
Imagine
Wasn't
that.
that a big drawing, you know?
It was indeed. Yeah. And the tyre, the O'Hanlon tyres.
O'Hanlon tyres.
They don't live local either, so they were there.
The Pome Carrigan, I mean, everything well turned out, like.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
No more about it, like.
Very enjoyable.
And look with today.
And the little children. There was oceans of school children took part there today.
There was over 20 children from that cool baby school.
And children from, that was right, the preschool. Yeah. And you had the children then from Hollymount National School.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's lovely to see them making
the effort. They were yesterday before, I bet you.
Maybe they were.
Yeah, we got more.
What have you for us this week?
Well,
you always have something nice.
This week now, after Sean Reddy and myself, the 15th of February, we went around to see the destruction that the storm.
The damage of the storm, yeah.
And had a look at the trees that were felled and the trees that had fallen and the trees that were going to fall. We just had a whip around, like so.
And before we go to that, I can't help noticing you. Is that a handy tie you have on?
That's a handy tie. My sister knit that tie for me.
Wow! Isn't that lovely? Isn't that a lovely handy tie for St. Patrick's?
It's a green, white and gold tie.
Very good. No, we'll go over to the store.
It's the 15th of February and 2014, and my goodness, we are here after the amazing storm, the hurricane in fact, and we're here with James Moynihan here, and we can see James has been very busy checking out on your trees, James, and my goodness, not only this tree, but apparently more than this.
Yeah, 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 trees now that will be damaged. We'll count that one as well.
Right. There's one down here we can see already bending down on the right hand side here. Then one of the as we look with the trees in the background, they were top heavy in lots of ways.
Top heavy is right. Yeah.
And I suppose the weight on top and and also influenced by how wet the ground is at the moment.
That's right. That's true.
Right. So we're going to continue on a tour of the area to find out what effect this amazing, what we'd call a hurricane was. And I think they've even given a name to this hurricane now. They've called it Darwin. So this was Darwin visiting Millstreet. And we don't want to see him too often.
No.
Indeed. So thanks very much, James. And now with Brendan on camera, we're going to set off and see what in fact has happened. Now we began here in Clara Road and we've just moved in another section here from where we met James Moynihan, and Brendan has already pointed out, my goodness, this huge tree here that was actually leaning very much by the side of the Finau River. This is quite amazing, and you can see already people have had to cut logs from it so that it could be, so as to make it safe as such. But look at this. But when you consider, if you look at the height of these trees here, the fact that those survived the actual hurricane winds was just astounding. But this is a huge tree here, and you can see that, my goodness, if this tree could speak, it obviously is a tree that has been there for many, many years. This is just amazing. One of the many scenes here after the storm. Now you'll notice we're still on the Clara Road. The day actually is beautiful at the moment. The sun is shining, and so different to when the storm was here, because you can see the effect on the river itself. This is the River Finau, and the River Finau looked absolutely amazingly much bigger than it was normal. It was much wider and much fiercer in many different ways. Also, Brendan has indicated to me that right over here on this field we can see some fir trees, and these were historic fir trees that have been there many years. Apparently a number of those have fallen since the storm itself. Right. And but this is just some of the effect of the storm itself, and we've only travelled a short distance at the moment. So what have we yet to find as we move along? Now the volume of water, you can see here, has increased quite dramatically over the past number of days, and particularly after the storm itself. This is the River Finau, and this is just a tributary now of the River Blackwater. This would have come right up from Comatrouche itself, come right down here, and you can see how dramatic it looked there. And even across the road here, we're going to have a quick look, because we're going to go right over across the road, and as we go across the road, we can see the power of the river. Now, it was much wilder than that, but thankfully it has got much better in the past couple of days. Now Brendan is focusing at the moment on a nesting box here by the tree, and thankfully that tree survived. It's a huge tree, and hopefully birds got shelter there. We know that Brendan takes great care of so many different birds over the year, but it's wonderful to see. And we notice that nature is very much alive here this morning. Now you can see we're here on Station Road, and during the storm itself, this is one of the many trees that was affected here. This tree quite likely was right down and blocked the road at the time itself. Now there is the remains of the tree itself, but it has been cut and put right over here. Goodness, we are meeting with good people here who actually witnessed the storm here.
He said falling.
My goodness.
Yeah, he was upstairs up in the window.
Dear goodness.
And he said the last one falling, the big one.
But Con, this was quite dramatic really. The Glybe, and we're here at what is actually the front entrance of Dushan here, and we can see the effect of the storm here. My goodness, that is a dramatic scene of a tree right across the avenue here. This is the famous avenue here in Dushan, and you can see the size of the trees here that are standing, thankfully still standing here, but this is a fir tree that just fell right down, as you can see there, and you can see it is actually broken in the middle there, and this will just tell you the power of the hurricane winds here when this happened. This is something we haven't seen before here in Millstreet. But as Brendan has just been indicating, that as trees have fallen, thankfully they're being replaced. Because right over here, we have a tree over here replacing, and I think this is a tree called a beech. Is this correct, Brendan?
Yes,
it's a beech tree.
Yeah.
It's just, this is one of the many trees being grown again hopefully to replace some of the trees that have been lost through this most dramatic storm itself. So these are just some of the trees, and I'm sure that if we went into the estate itself, there are many, many different trees in the Droshan estate itself, and thankfully ones from this angle anyway, many of the wonderful trees are still standing, because if you look in the distance there, you can see some of those trees must have been under huge pressure during the hurricane winds itself, but thankfully they have survived. So our journey continues. We're here around the Glybe at the moment, and we're progressing further on, and we're amazed that of the scenes that we're still witnessing a number of days on since the storm. Now you can see that we're very close to Droshan there, Droshan Castle here. So, but we're here around the Glybe at the moment, and as we progress further, we meet our very, very good friend, Michael Thornton. And Michael, we can see you're a busy man. Tell us what's happening.
Good afternoon, Sean.
Good afternoon indeed.
I'll tell you, I suppose it's safe enough to say that this has been the most destructive storm in years, and particularly the 2 hours.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
From dinner.
12 to 2.
Yeah.
12 to 2.
And
yes.
In my very young years, I can
Yes.
safely say that we have never seen the destruction.
Yeah. And in my 63 years, I have never seen it.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I suppose the pity is there has been some magnificent old trees have been brought down in this storm, and we can see it around the farm. We've had 6 really fine
6 trees
down on our farm, and we would always consider ourselves,
right,
quite low lying and sheltered.
Yes.
So one can only imagine the destruction that was done in the more exposed areas.
Absolutely. And just to see what's actually happening here, Michael, what actually happened up here now?
Well, it was just a very substantial branch literally sheared off the tree.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yes. But the tree itself survived.
Well, the main part of the tree is fine. Well, I suppose and it would be a problem with a lot of big trees, particularly with their forks. You can see there where the branches separated.
Yes.
I suppose there's some water lodging or whatever, but the timber tends to rot and die back in there a bit. You can see the dark patch there.
Yes.
And
so does that make it somewhat unsafe then?
It would, yeah. And I would be looking at the fork just above it there.
Yes.
That branch going
Yes.
kind of to the westerly direction there.
Yeah.
One would question the safety of that.
Indeed. But I suppose one of the busiest groups of people at the moment are tree surgeons.
Absolutely.
They'll be kept going for weeks.
I met a very nice gentleman, Bill Bly.
Oh yes, I know Bill, yes.
Yeah, and
he actually does amazing art through actual wood.
A great man, fantastic tree sculptor.
It's chainsaw art. It's quite amazing.
And he has
lives in Tullaleaf.
That's right.
Yes.
And he has a most fantastic piece that he did for the school in Dernagree.
Oh right.
His son Ned went to school in Dernagree.
Right.
And but he's done an incredible piece.
Amazing artist there, Bill.
But I was talking to Bill yesterday, and he said, not only have they worked for weeks, he said that they have a solid year's work in front of them.
My goodness, a full year's work for people, tree surgeons, and they are so focused on health and safety, and they know exactly what to do and where to go and what is dangerous and what's not dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is amazing. Well, Michael, we won't delay you in your mighty work because it's getting a bit cooler at the moment, but we can see Michael is making sure that everything is in beautiful order here for the many visitors that will be coming to Coolfield.
I think we've a bit of work to make it beautiful, Sean, but we'll keep at it. There'll be no shortage of firewood for next winter.
Oh, exactly.
So
when we want a nice warm fire,
silver lining to every cloud. Yeah.
Exactly, indeed. Well, thanks very much, Michael, for joining us today. And at this point, with Brendan on camera, we're going to continue on our Storm Tour 2014. Well, now, right here in the Droshan estate itself, in a field further over from where the castle is, you can see this was a huge spruce tree that would have fallen not in this most recent storm, but the storm there around St. Stephen's Day and the Christmas storm. But my goodness, it is dramatic looking to look at this here. And hopefully we will not see the lights for many a year to come. The likes of what is now known as Hurricane Darwin. That is the official name that we apparently has been given to this huge storm. Now we've just left Michael Thornton there. You could hear in the distance actually the sound of the cutting of with the chainsaw of the wood itself. That's in the distance there. Michael is in the distance there. And Michael referred to the fact that when we told him that the actual storm was called Darwin, he says, well, the evolution of nature has been certainly affected by this storm. And indeed it has, because if you just look at it, this amazing huge tree here now, that's standing and thankfully was not affected by the storm itself. But when the actual roots are affected, this is what happens. Look at this. Isn't that dramatic itself? That now is the effect of the storm itself. Look at the way the roots, it was just taken entirely, and it fell in towards the field, thankfully, and didn't affect the road here at that point. But you can see that's quite a substantially big tree there. But you can see, look at the roots here. My goodness. You can see, look at the many, many different roots that are here on this tree itself. And you see the power. But you'll also notice that the actual, the wet ground didn't help in this storm, because you see it didn't have maybe the foundation when the storm came, that the wetness of the ground made a huge difference. But this is one of the most dramatic scenes there that we've come across on our storm tour. Well, my goodness, we have come from around the Glyde, and we are down here very near Drishan Cemetery, and of course very near the Drishan estate. But you can see here we are right in the midst of the destruction that was caused by the storm Darwin. My goodness. When we look around us here, there are brambles, and there are this is a tree that would obviously have fallen at this particular point. Normally this is a roundabout that when people come to a funeral here, they turn around here. Well, there's no way. Well, Eileen.
Well captured, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, and you know, when the weather has improved now, you'd look back and you say, did it ever happen?
Yes.
You couldn't.
The amount of trees, as you can see there.
There you
and
are.
I think one of the great shots that Brendan, who's presently on camera, on studio camera here at the moment, one of the best shots of all, I thought, were the ones near Drishan.
Yeah.
My goodness, it was quite dramatic what we saw there.
Huge.
We call it our storm tour. Our storm tour. Some years ago, do you remember when we had the very cold winter?
Yes.
We did a snow tour.
A snow tour.
And it was hugely popular on the internet, and we also had it on LTV2. So this time, Brendan suggested to me, let's do a storm tour. And this
well, at least this time, in between the fallen trees, the roads were all right.
Yeah.
That time when you went out, it was a glacier all the way.
Yeah. And I noticed even, in so many other parts of Ireland, the amount of trees that are, the amount of logs that are now available after the storm itself.
Well, they say there'll be no turf cut in Ireland this year. It'll be all timber.
Absolutely. Well, now, Eileen, as we know, Brendan, by the way, it wasn't that. I was delighted you focused on Brendan's tie.
It's
fascinating,
you
really.
have a nice green tie for this week. But having said that,
I'll have to purchase a new one for next year.
You'll have to place an order.
Yeah, I'll have to, or get one made.
Yeah,
I must talk to Brendan about that. Maybe he'll talk to
his niece.
His niece.
No.
So
my sister.
Your sister. Okay. I will have to check out with his sister
a very
for
talented
another
lady.
time. It might be
No, it is lally.
It might be a unique style that anyway we'll
But one thing
continue.
we never, well, after the start of that time, one thing we never asked Brendan was, do you remember he had a picture here one night of one of the oldest trees in the country? What was it? Can we ask Brendan behind the camera? What was it, Brendan?
That was a mountain ash.
I patted
No,
it, yeah.
I haven't I didn't visit the tree since, but I presume it was all right.
Yes.
Well, no, for our curiosity, we're asking
We'll have
you
to check it
go
out.
and check up
Yeah.
on that tree.
Yeah.
But thankfully a whole lot of beautiful trees did survive.
Oh, they
But there were...
Amazing, the ones that did survive. You'd
Yes.
see them in kind
Yes.
of a precarious position,
Yes.
and they're still there. don't you know?
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's
But
the
anyway,
truth.
let's go back to this week again, and we're still in St. Patrick's Week, and now we're going to share footage from two parades. Now, we won't be able to share every moment of it, but we're going to... the highlights. And firstly, let's begin on the one that began on the 16th of
Yes,
March, which
the day
was the
before
Sunday.
the day, yeah.
Yes, and that was the one in
Carriganima.
Carriganima. And the man leading the parade on that particular day, the privilege was given to Michael Pickett from Newmarket.
He was a piper, wasn't he?
Correct,
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah.
piper. And it was Michael and his grandson. His grandson was on the Bowron. And Breda, his wife, was also present there. And they led the parade. And it was a fabulous parade.
Yeah.
And so now...
Lovely atmosphere in the small.
Wonderful.
Lovely
And
atmosphere.
again, blessed that the rain did not come down.
Yeah.
So, of course, the commentator on the day, give a guess who it was, who
Was it
commentated.
Sean?
Oh,
Sean
a very
himself.
witty commentator. You'll actually hear quite a bit of this in
Good,
the...
you
in
captured
the,
some of
yeah,
that.
oh, we did indeed. So, listen for Sean's voice here now in the special commentary here on the St. Patrick's Day Parade as celebrated in Corriganima.
He's after piping all the way from the mountain.
Now Sean Murphy indicates that he's after piping all the way from Newmarket. So we have Michael here and his grandson and also Breda, Michael's wife over here at the side. And there they are. My goodness, what an amazing... And now we have, of course, the fire brigade. This is wonderful. There we have the... Right, lovely. And there's the fire service here coming right through. Oh. And we have plenty of sound effects here.
Come on, give it a clap. Come on, that's that job. Let's carry it on.
It's wonderful.
Come on, Kieran. Give it a bit harder. Right, let's Michael Pickett and Kieran all the way from the market. No, next up is was the very important service to Co.Cork. And that's being driven by Pat McCarthy. Come on, give Pat a big cheer. And he has a lot of helpers today. Well done, Pat. And Niall Cornell is driving the van behind him. Thanks very much, lads. Right, next up, coming out of Carriganima National School.
And now at this point, what a wonderful display here by Corriganima National School here. Well done. And in great style. Mighty style there from Corriganima National School and supported by the parents and boards of management and all.
Big clap there for Carriganima National School, and I think they have a bit of a surprise in store for us. There's going to be tidbits flying around 2 seconds.
And now we're coming up to Ballinagree Cope. The annual walk is going to be taking place on the 4th of May 2014. And Ballinagree, as always, has a wonderful display just coming up very, very shortly here for Cope. And here we are, an absolute beautiful display. It's called Hurricane Darwin. How I coped, We coped.
Give me some of the big round of applause there, lads. There'll be more family income.
That's mighty.
What do you think of it, Jenny? Look at the walls, Jenny. No water. This is someone.
Captured their playing there.
Thanks very much, lads. You done a brilliant job. No,
Well done.
hold on a second. What are you going doing? Where are your tin whistles? You're going to singing later, right. That was Carrigadoon National School. And next up, of course, we have Ballinagree Co.Cork and their walk is on Sunday the 4th of May. Right, John? That's the job. Right. What did they get up to that? There was a storm there a couple of weeks ago, and this is what they got up to in Ballinagree. There's a bed like that, is there? What's the bed about? There's two in bed? What's that about? Right. Hi, well done here. Oh yeah. What's the story here? We sure we have a singer on the float, have we? What's he doing in the front? Bring him out here. Oh, he's driving. Come out here and sing a song. Come on, he wants the mic. Right. Of course we have DJ Mike driving. Come on, give us one verse or something.
Maids of Duhallow are anxious for courting. A word of advice I would give on to thee. Proceed to adhere to the candidate sportsmen and hand in their name to the club committee. But do not govern any sketch of your program to carry to see coming over the hill and flying through the meadows and plains of Kilcorny. You're almost free sportsman about Eddie Quill. For running, for rolling, for football.
Right, with a big clap there for Michael Sullivan. And of course, we have a man here, David, is going to give us one flash to the corner before he goes.
Why don't we just done? No. Beautiful.
Big cheer for him there, folks. Well done. Right, next we have, I suppose it must be one of Kenya's most important drivers, David McSweeney. He got the new truck. What do you think of that? That's the job. Kenya all the way from Millstreet. Right. And of course, next up we have Reagan's. Of course, Pat, you shouldn't be driving that. Pat got the new truck for today. Dennis actually got married last Friday. Big cheer to Dennis. Thanks, Pat. Next we have Kieran. Anyone who wants to spread fertilizer, but come here. Come here. You're too late. The weather's out to drying up, isn't it? Tis, yeah. So if you want to, you do spraying as well, yeah? Kieran there, Kieran scan.
Right.
Right, what's going on here?
Oh,
This is a bit like the Rosa Tree, eh? Ah, yeah, a bit of pushing here. Right, well, Catherine, what's going on here? You want the microphone? I'd say we'll sing a song for you. It's actually Catherine's birthday, and they're surprised over this today. She knew absolutely nothing about it. What do you think?
lovely.
The Rosa Carrigan 2014. What about the buckles pushing?
We're good too.
They're alright, yeah. You have to turn on Macroom to come back. Right. Next up we have Christy Ring. And Christy might get a drop here in a minute. There's a tractor taking apart above at the end of the bar there, and he might give a hand and put it back together. And of course, Christoph. Christoph, no, do not wave that hand. Stop a second. Stop. Wave your other hand up here. Wave your hand. No. You see, things can go wrong in the workplace. Christoph, see what Christy done to Christoph when he wasn't working the way he was supposed to? Wave your hand, Christoph. The other hand. Hey! Christoph had a little accident there last week. Next up we have Tyg in the 115. And he has a lot of helpers. General is driving some sort of a mini digger. Some sort of a mini digger, is it? Yeah, you have the power pack near you and you're okay. Right. Big cheer there for Christopher. He might give a hand and putting the tractor together there with the Broomhead Vintage Club there in a few minutes. Next up we have Denny Buckley, the Ulster, and Clover Hill, supplying all sorts of ingredients for making all sorts of cakes. Denny is probably back there somewhere. Big cheer for Denny Buckley. Now, what is this coming up next? I think we recognize this Jeep. Does everyone recognize this Jeep? Let's see this Jeep. And it's not Co.Cork that's driving it. Hold on a minute now, what's going on here? Noreen Horgan is driving Co.Cork's Jeep. What are you up to?
Telling everyone he's getting married this August.
And, oh yeah, you're his wedding planner. And is everyone invited to this wedding?
I presume so.
So anyone that doesn't know, Co.Cork is getting married next August, and everyone is invited to the wedding, Noreen said. Hey! By the way, Co.Cork knows nothing about this yet. Hold on a minute. You're back here online. I was asking one question. Have you got a passport to go through Carrigan? Oh, this fella's playing in the bar there in a minute. Jeremy Captain. He's taking this thing down to Condabull. Is that right? No, what do you mean it's not right? I got that mixed up. It's not going to Condabull, no? Not this year. Jeremy Captain is vintage car and he's playing in the bar there later on. Of course, we have Dennis Keller and Sons. Here are London Timber at the Sparring, where to go. Feature for Dave, the fastest truck in Ulster.
Right, Dennis granddaughter, wow. Super. Great commentary.
Right, next up we have the shiniest truck in the country. Hold on a minute. Look at this. Come on, Mr. Horgan. Come here and talk to me. Come here. Why is the door locked? He did a small accident with the door there a few weeks ago while the crowd in Ballinagre were in the pub singing and making babies. Petey was clinging onto the door of the truck. It got blown away. Need to get a new door. Oh, Amy and her two goats. Come back here, show us the goats. Do a bit of a circle. You're nearly past. Amy is a bit shy. Next up we have Mick Dundee and his 188. He's into shining since last year. Big cheer for Mick.
Well done.
Followed by Phil Casey, his setter. Big wave, Phil. Right, and of course Ryan Tarrant in the David Brown 780. He's in the whole morning washing it. And followed by Millstreet Vintage Club. Well done lads, thanks. Kyle. Look here, what have we up? One man and his dog. Fair play to the name, how do you think of them? The dog has no problem staying up in the quiet. Oh, the dog is deaf. And what's this up behind you? One man and his pup. This is a big cheer, folks. Co.Cork, and his own quad, and his own dog up behind him. Big cheer, come on. Hey, Co.Cork. And of course we have Musgrave Vintage and Car Club followed by that. Thanks very much for calling, lads. Oh no. Not after happening in Joey, is it? It's an annual thing now, the car stops. No petrol. Hold on a minute now. Just too slow. Well, give us one bar of a song, so. No song. He's in the Millstreet singing group anyway. What do you think you should sing? I'd say they'd take anything.
Rock me mama like a wagon wheel. Rock me mama and mama rock me.
I think she's going to start and drive off now. Try that, see it might start alright. Double the boys push. About 12, half 12 next Sunday. Right. After 11 o'clock back at Mass in Kilnamartyr, they have their parade next Sunday.
Well done.
Right, folks?
Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Next up, what is this about?
Whoa.
What is this about? Right. Is this what you were doing the Star of Darwin? Hold on a minute. John Paul can't be stopped. Hold on. Right here, I don't know what's going on. Right, what's the story here? Who's the spokesman here? I suppose Pancho would be the man, I'd say. You know what, I'll give you this and explain what you're up to.
We're looking for calves. We're exporting Spain, Italy. Money, no problem. They're going by boat, we won't chance going by air anymore. You won't know how the plane will end up. The money, you get the money when we come back. If we come back.
By the way, Pacho promised last night that he would sing a song and he's going to sing with Joey after the parade is over. Alright, Pacho, big cheer, there was a lot of work put into this. And of course, don't forget there's another matches in the front there. Of course, Donald and Jella getting married in August. Right. Now, how am I going to explain this one? Brendan, is that my tanker you have? Right. This is my tanker that was, I was going to bring the one before. Kieran was after sandblasted and sprayed it. What do you think of it?
Wow.
It looks good, of course it looks good. Well done, Brendan. And of course we have Brendan with his own tractor digger after his Mike Keller drive it.
Oh.
The best in the West, is it? Okay. Big cheer because Mike's been all morning washing the digger. Alright, here we have Millstreet water factors. Right? And of course we have I'm out of forgetting their names. Come back here. Whoa!
Right, well done. Gorgeous.
Yeah, just pat in Noreen Casey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't want to distract them anymore. What do you think?
Do you want to sit down?
This tractor was actually built inside the hot wheel as well, the very same way, inside the arm.
These two girls. They're surprised me. Yeah. Thank you. Sure.
Competition on sports project
Just buddies from college and Tina, myself and Jean are all expected. Really?
What do you think, folks? Let's start with driving a couple of minutes time. It takes a most to get him clean. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know because they have to wait for a few points. That's the important thing. We're not going up to 2 minutes yet.
Wow.
The tractors practically together.
Look at that. Fantastic.
Daddy. Be in there in a minute.
Come on, give him a bit of a boss, big share. Come on, keep going. 2.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes. Less than half. What's up?
What?
Yeah, okay.
And you take that song on the same time?
My mother would be still so funny. And you'd get that. Yes,
Look at this.
like a repetition. Oh yeah. And then next time I'll pressure start to text food. Just answer a call, make call.
Wow.
We're looking at fertilizer, so we're going for selling fertilizer. The ketchup. Ketchup gets silent.
Look at that.
Come on, Danto.
3.5 minutes
Clearly the best supporter
so we
here.
can get straight up and on inside. This is going to give good points. Come on, folks, give them more encouragement. To compliment, give them back with your calves.
Keep going!
Come on, to start the look like a tractor.
Yes, indeed. It is.
1.5 minutes gone now at the moment. That is going in, she's looking good. Almost 5 minutes. Come on, folks, keep it going. Take a speed up this moment.
Fantastic.
Keep going!
Come on, hands up down the back of the big chair. Come on. There's no way to start. Do not, with the boys at the Vintage Club there and Broom Hill boys come on and take this thing apart. We give them the tractor going home. Well done, Jerry. Poor boys pushing. Right on, the boys up for Kim the Matcha. And their parade, by the way, is next Sunday.
Well, now, Eileen, what did you think of that?
Wonderful, wonderful. I love the atmosphere in those places, you know, everything is so intimate and everybody knowing everybody else.
And did you see how they were able to construct the actual tractor there? That was our friends from Coachford. Brendan knows our friends from the Broomhill. The Broomhill Club there in Coachford. Vintage Club out in Coachford. They do a fantastic job, and they did it there in record time there in Corriganima. Oh my goodness, it was a lot less than 10 minutes, an awful lot less than 10 minutes, and they did it in great style. And we saw at the very end there the man driving off in the tractor. He actually drove off in the tractor. And it was so well done. To
get away from all that now, Sean, there's something else that I'd like to ask you about. You were at a launch in the Green Glens on Sunday.
Oh, yes, that was special. That was very special. And we've quite a feature on the internet about this. And there'll be an awful lot more about it. It's a 10-day horse carriage drive between Mallinhead in the north, right down to Mizenhead in the south.
Horse and carriage.
Correct, from the 9th to the 19th of July 2014. And it's in aid of breakthrough research in cancer. And all of the money is going to be provided for the centre in Cork. And there was a lot of, in fact we have coverage of this that we'll be sharing in future weeks, because we did record this press conference.
But just for tonight now, that's why I asked you about it, just so that people would be aware, and to be watching out for it.
And of course the ambassador chosen is the wonderful, witty, and I must say, she was supremely witty on the day itself. When we said to Joanne,
of course she was Grand Marshal of our parade this year.
Indeed. Yes, of course.
She was Grand Marshal.
But on the actual, when she actually was on the carriage with Danjo from Ballinagree.
Did they lift her on the horse?
Absolutely. And the horse started to move off. Joanne, I asked Joanne, how did she feel? She says, the United Nations was easy. This is scary.
Oh dear.
I thought it was very, very good. But she was, she did it so well, and they were delighted to have her as ambassador.
So there's more on that as time goes on.
More.
I'm sorry now to break off and ask you about that there, but I'd love people to be aware of this coming.
Ahina Market Club are very much involved in this too. A lot of the market clubs throughout the country will be involved, and a very, very special cause. And in fact, travelling behind the horse and carriage. Now Joanne will just do a small amount of the trip itself, but she will be there as the ambassador at different points along the way. But following, the horse was actually like a Dalmatian.
A Dalmatian, you have that on the web.
And there is a little dog, a Dalmatian dog, that follows them. So it's quite incredible.
I'm sure the one horse isn't going to do it all though, Sean.
Oh no, they'll get a whole series.
I'd love to know how many horses that have to change to go
we'll
from
have to find out
Mallinhead to Mizenhead.
A lot more.
That's what, 300 miles?
Exactly, exactly, right the length of Ireland. Yeah. And a very special word of thanks to Mark Condren, who is of course the photojournalist of the year on 2 years running, who alerted us to this occasion itself.
That was great.
And has a great regard for, and of course it's very much focused from the Ballinagree area, and the wonderful
and the date again, Sean, when is that?
It's from the 9th to the 19th of July 2014.
It's just
there'll be an awful lot more about it as we'll go.
So now back to back to the parade.
No, it was very relevant because it had to do with equestrianism and the whole lot.
It had.
And of course, as you said, Joanne was the Grand Marshal of the Millstreet parade.
Yeah. And she gave a lovely speech at the start.
Indeed. And we have this, that is how we begin. Because we're now going to go over and have look at the highlights of the Millstreet parade. And my goodness, but watch out, very specially, for the one and only Brendan on the tractor. And there's a royal wave from him as he passes by. It looked really, really well. But there were some other wonderful... What I thought was absolutely tremendous altogether too was the Smurfs. from the Rathcoole Play School. They were absolutely amazing. The Smurfs, and they were all in blue.
They were.
Oh, it was amazing.
Faces painted blue, clothes blue,
they got a prize. They got one of the major prizes. So anyway, at this point, let's enjoy Millstreet St. Patrick's Day Parade 2014 on St. Patrick's Day.
Making sure that the parade goes ahead in Millstreet. We have prizes in many categories to be announced after the parade. We'll have a few words now from Joanne O'Riordan in a moment. You wait, Joanne. Joanne O'Riordan, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, evening, afternoon, whatever the time it is, everyone, and welcome to the Millstreet Parade 2014. I'm absolutely delighted and incredibly honoured to have been asked to come here and be the Grand Marshal for the parade today. As we all know, St. Patrick's Day is very important for the Irish tradition, and from China to everywhere, to Brazil to everywhere, we get to see the entire place turn green, which is, you have to admit, it's pretty cool to see in fairness. It allows us to embody all that is great about being Irish and gives us a platform, both nationally and internationally, to showcase our best talent. St. Patrick's Weekend symbolises and allows us to paint the world green for just one day, where we all celebrate the beauty that is Ireland. I'm equally delighted to announce that I have to do with advertising, because I heard the politicians are going to advertise themselves. So I'm going to advertise myself right now. That No Limits, No Limits is going to be released generally on the 11th of April. So I hope that you all come out and see it, and you all know that my brother Stephen directed it, so everyone go and support Millstreet and support the documentary. Hopefully next year, maybe the year after, we can bring an Oscar back to Millstreet Parade, so you never know. No pressure. So thanks very much again for inviting me here today. I'll let you all go and you can all begin your party, and hopefully no one will go too mad and fall on the street and probably get run over because they're drunk. I'm joking. We're all nice and civilized here in Millstreet. But let's party anyway and have some fun, and thanks very much again.
Welcome. Only Joanne O'Riordan, give me a big round of applause, please. And as Joanne did tell you there, the film and the Her Life, No Limits, No Limits, shall be released generally on April the 11th. Seen in the Opera House, the day before Christmas. That's film on Joanne's life, produced by our brother Stephen. In a moment now we'll have the parade. Pat Gallagher is there taking photographs. Against my better judgment, but anyway. In a moment now, folks, we'll have some more politicians, but mine and us are down there as well. Mike is coming up now. Show me as far as there, Mike, behind. Michael? What feels far, will it? How's the parade now, I hope? Very, very shortly. Let's pipe there, ladies and gentlemen, and give us a rendition here now in front of the platform for your entertainment. Mainly very young pipe band members now, with a few elders to guide them along. 2500 is young man over 60 years of existence. Running the next short and the better in this country in the road is really. Bill Rabla, multiple fellows, etc., down to the years. Many young members now in the band. This band will continue into the very, very long future. For another 60 or 100 years. The Millstreet Pipe Band, give them a little applause there as they pass you along. Up to the parade after the Millstreet Pipe Band is number 47. Mr. Vincent. Who's on the street, Vincent? Mr. Vincent's group. Ford Model A, 1928. Petrol. That's a Ford Model A down there on the dust what's coming on here.
Beautiful. Wow.
What is this?
That's the President's car.
President's car.
Wow. It's gorgeous.
That's Obama's car, I think. Yes.
Beautiful.
I saw Obama passing down his boat over there in the crowd. Barack Obama, come out here on the foot, please, here. Don't be shy. What is going on here, Monopoly? The Lord Mayor of Ballinaglee is in this car now. The Lord Mayor of Ballinaglee. Who is the Lord Mayor of Ballinaglee? Siobhan Carr, the Lord Mayor of Ballinaglee. He's so good in there. He's so good in there.
Well done.
A beautiful good card. Siobhan Carr from Ballinaglee, the Mayor of Ballinaglee. We thank them for coming along as they usually do to the Millstreet parade. Suppose that this car first gets along here. Yes. So hello vintage. Passing me down there. So hello vintage. So hello vintage again. Suppose there's any kept cars here in the vintage section. Right, hurry up. This is car there, Mr. Barry. Passing along here, some more vintage. Beautiful in those cars. 70 keys somewhere here. 70 keys passing us down there, automatic cars. Solomon, Planter, Mr. loving it. That's his father-in-law. Pepper Warland, Benson Hedges, passing us down there, motorcraft. And along here now we have another beautifully polished car. That's Anne Casey Joy, what's that? Memorial Race. Anne Casey Joy Memorial Race. Passing along here we go Buckley. This is Jim Bandotona and he said to say nothing. How are you doing? That's the Buckley there, Marie, passing us down there in their car. And we have some running cars here, take away and pictures, sorry. Sorry, all some of the sponsors there. Only orange. I'm passing hello, then. How are you doing? Passing down there now some more vintage and running cars. Howard Motors, Blackpool. Up in Malvern and some more vintage here, there's a big vintage section. Cars here, well done. Adorations. Young man there, waving a flag. He sticks his head out the top of the car. He's expecting sunshine. And once more we have.
Nice.
How are you doing? Vintage. And vintage. Big vintage section here. We thank them all for coming along. Here in the parade in the street.
Sorry, am I
with cars washed and polished. And knocked along and taken care of down to the years. Making sure that they stay in the fine state. Coming along here again. That's some other mine, is it? More vintage here, passing us down there. And the final vintage car, I think. Yes. We thank everybody for coming along. With all the vintage section, the Holland Street, etc.
There's a bit of a gap now.
Current Pipe Band. They're down there below, they're performing down there, they will be up in the moment. Thanks for coming along, directing the traffic. We hope everybody takes care. Come in tight now, folks. Hold the way back. The Cohen pipeline passing us down there along getting the big round of applause for coming along here and promote the Millstreet Parade every year, each year. Over the years, decades, in this country and all over Europe for their musical performances. Very much again, your master of mind. Once again, they are very young members as well. There's a British Pastor down there, master of mind, up in there. Just on Hickey on number one, beautifully laid out.
Wave again.
Coming along here now, and took off the hat head of it.
That's Brendan Murphy's new track.
Off the hat up this year.
He renovated that one.
Where's the Murphy, sorry? Come on. I couldn't recognise you there under the hat. This is the richest section here. Those old tractors who did a lot of work to us, roller and in their day. Passing us along here now. The sword and redone. Remind us of the past. There's a kind of there's a tractor here which is fairly recent. I think it's more recent than mine, but anyway. The recent section. 79. Colour in this tractor here. Good idea, 12 Casey. Exeter, 7211. 12 Casey from Carrigan Green. As you come on here now, folks, Thank you, Simon. Give me a colour this year. All the way from Tully. Right away. So plenty around here beautifully. Have your license. Give me a colour. Up from Tully. Pass you along here now in Goodland Town. River Harrow. Brian Tams is not on there, sorry. Brian Tams. Right up. How are we doing? How's that for the one? 620. So there's no right. 620 went on there in the first tractor. Dan Barry is here. Dan Barry tractor players, Richard Carr and tractor installation. You name it. Dan Barry and John, etc. Can get them up and running again. And beautifully left out. Both sides in there, folks. You remember those from the old days? There's that one for the regular quarters. Happy St. Patrick's Day for all Harley Central Millstreet. Harley Central Millstreet, the Toyota. The recent word in there, century that was Harley's back in the West End and Millstreet. There's a girl here with a drummer with a green hat and Mara Chinese going to speak about those in a moment.
They're going to perform for us. They're going to perform here. Right, sorry Margaret.
Leading the boys' school this year we have St. Patrick followed by Leprechauns. Next we have Brian O'Driscoll with his wife Amy Huberman and some other Irish rugby players. Then we have Skywalker with James Bond and our car hurlers Anthony Nash and Carter Corrigan. Followed then we have Mrs. Brown Soy. An Ireland soccer players Shane Long and John O'Shea. Then we have our own Mark Ellis, famous wrestler and follow, with bands and bodyguards. The boys are now going to dance to the hugely popular He's Happy from the movie Despicable Me 2. This highly infectious song was nominated for the Best Original Song at this year's Academy Awards. So we would like you all to join in, clap along and dance to Happy.
Training about what the 50-point school has to offer. Involved there, of course, is Sister Norma with the green head here alongside me. And they're going to perform, I think Mama said they're going to perform Iran, for the Iran narration. My Flamani, my cousin, I don't came in most of the time, it's down there as well. He needed shade, but he won't go into that. Very much. I want you to dance with them. Anybody up for a dancer? Yes, they are. Dancers are coming along. They're all going to join in on a moment. Are you dancing? High School there, performed there for your events there. 600 up by the Millstreet High School. We thank them for coming out today and for organising and putting a lot of work into that. Mother mine in there in the back, by the way. Hello, Mother. Mother mine down there as well with the teachers in the school and the number of Bucky, etc. To thank all the boys for coming along to the Millstreet High School. This is GS Headmasters, Brida O'Reilly and Joy Cullinan and the front, followed by the set dancers themselves. I don't know if Joanne and Brida want to perform or not, so we'll see in a moment.
They must be cold at this point.
This is set dancers. We're going to perform here in the square in a moment or two. And we'll go back to Brida and Joanne. here, folks. Performing it there. What we can do. Young set dancers to the street, making sure that set dancing continues long into the future, led by Joanne Cullinan and Breda O'Riordan. Some of the crowd mothers up there as well, like Henry Buckley, etc., passing down here, and Gareth passing here as well. This is Ring. Well, I'm just here, folks. Looking for a rock. Has anyone got what poor boiler this thing? He's finished up with he's on the nose. Right on Bristol there, folks. One of the girls is something for a long time. The honour to have his presence here in Millstreet today. The Lion Road Bristol. Come along here now of the Blackcoat Play School. Blackcoat Play School. The 220 there are all painted up. There's the smoke. There's the smoke.
Yeah, that's...
Coming on there, what's that Millstreet I'll have to sing that because I can't read it. Can you read that? Okay. What just says Blackcoat Play School. So all the smoke here, folks. The Jenner's along there somewhere which she's painted. Oh, I can't see her yet. She's there waiting in front of me now, yeah?
Well done.
The Jenner O'Riordan.
That's great.
There's the smoke. Blackcoat Play School. Come along here to the parade each year. We thank them for that. Many other festivals there as well. There's the smoke, the young smoke.
Well done.
There are the smoke to Blackcoat Play School.
That's very well done. Yeah. Can you imagine the preparation there?
The smoke. Blackcoat. We thank you for coming along.
That's the...
I'm taking part from the parade here today.
Maura Foley.
Millstreet Community School coming up next. Millstreet Community School.
That's right, that's right. All right, Millstreet Community School. Oops. Nearly missed that.
Millstreet Community School. They have a little dog here as well, and there's a prize for the best dog laid up dog. Best dog, that's the first dog I saw.
Wow.
This is the display here, all right, let's keep it for that man. And he's psychic.
Wow. Batman.
Over the back, yeah. Back door here,
Very good. Excellent.
Thanks very much for coming along. Let's take it over this one. That man is good. Pass this down there. He's got a lovely dog. Best dog here in the CPA. At the moment, he's getting first prize.
Oh dear.
We don't know how to get any competition or not. The dog is ready to walk. Batman at the Millstreet Community School. Harrymount National School. Harrymount National School. Coming along in the parade now. Surrounded by flags, banners, etc. The Harrymount National School.
Very good.
We're going to perform, yes?
This is the Kerry Football Club now.
You want the mic there? Hello. Where's the mic?
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you doing?
Harrymount School, that's yourself, Harrymount. That's near John Ballier near Ratball, the Harrymount National School. What is going to do? Recovery top here.
Well done. Oh wow, Michael.
Bonus Monster Auction Centre. Down there, she said, 49-70921. Recovery top here, Monster Auction Centre. 49, that's Mike Spinning, it's driving it isn't it yet. This is about there, 3,650 for that car. That's going cheap. It's a bargain. Rather there, 3,050, I think. Some more British cars here. He's gone up in price there. He wants 10,000 for that car there. I don't know whether you get it or not. He'll probably will. For the HDI, yes, you will. Coleman's on the street.
Right, good John. That's John.
Coleman's on the street, passengers down there. I presume that John Coleman is driving the first car in his. His grandson is along there with him. John Coleman and his grandson John. Coleman's home of the Kia 7-year warranty. The Kia range. Donald and Linda got all their pastors. Donald and Linda. The board of John the Coleman's Kia range. There's Patrick Coleman himself. Patrick Coleman. Coleman's on the street. Right down there and so the Coleman's Kia range. Emma is next. Hello Emma, how are you doing? Getting married soon, are you? Emma's getting married soon, she says yes, that's right. Stephen
Barry Coban.
Stephen O'Sullivan, has you down there, Stephen O'Sullivan. To the Coleman tractors here now, New Holland tractors. They're somewhere. Other people here as well, and they'll give you out street sections out there, they'll collect you money. Coleman's New Holland range there now, folks. Perhaps, Perhaps O'Connor, one of your cars there you are. Perhaps O'Connor went up there first. Billy and Johnson, flew the bag. Conor O'Connor, is it? Conor O'Connor. Say hi. Say hi to Ranger Coleman. Then O'Connor himself. Yes, Ben. Then O'Connor passing us over there with Coleman's range. Then Pastor Millstreet for many years. Let's go past. Adjourn. From Balance. That's the one New Holland tractors. Maurice O'Connor. Huh? Maurice O'Connor, is it? Brian Curtin is coming up next to Assembly. Yes, it's Brian Curtin himself. He has one of the New Holland men there. New Holland cop puffer as well, being pulled by that tractor. All from the Coleman and Millstreet, we thank them for taking the time, putting the effort in to it. One moment now, this is the CGA. We have to hold it there a moment, folks, because we were talking about this small training instead. We have Michael Kelly and Michael Healy, have we? We have. Millstreet talk, reminding us of the fundraiser on next Friday night. This is next Friday night for the Millstreet GAA. The GAA at 8 o'clock. This shows us like a large audience. This is 1,000 there now, folks. All over Ireland, the popular talk of fundraising for clubs. Contestants are drawn for ticket sales, and each contestant will pay for €1,000. Our own Joanna Redden and Inter-County Hurler, Mark Ellis, will pay the first round for Millstreet Hospital. That's Friday night. The GA fundraiser, the 1,000 there. Tickets are available for committee members. It will be on sale at the door on the night. The great night's entertainment is guaranteed. Millstreet GA is the place to be next Friday night. You can go home with 1,000 there. You go home 8,000 there. That's the Millstreet GA fundraiser. Millstreet Boxing and Further. Keary Sports, public speaking and travel. Millstreet Boxing and Further. Many years ago I used to be a member when I was way ago. Folks. Capital the Irish Catholic Society. And took Bernamore. We go here at home in Bernamore, enjoy tea, coffee and cake. That's out in Bernamore. Irish Catholic. Sandy Bucky is here now. Taking away his
Hello.
Listen, come on, take your time. Take a 10 minutes or and look into the eye. You do it? Don't do it. Pass me like that. It's all right. And a bit slow. Perhaps you're on the Co.Cork club. Probably, yes. Modify your read.
Millstreet Promoting Club followed up in 2013 with another very successful year. First they were the under-9s who captured their first under-9 county league title in great style. Next came the under-11s who were undefeated in their games to win the under-11 Avenue Trophy. with the under-13s runners-up in the Avon under-13 trophy. For the second year in succession, the under-14s won the Mary O'Neill Trophy in tremendous fashion. Finally, the under-16s achieved the highest accolade in their grade by winning the under-16 county championship in a nail-biting contest on December 29th. Also, 7 of the Clovey girls were selected for Cork teams in various age groups.
And finally, Eilidh,
a lot of work went
into
sorry, Sean. A lot of work went into making that parade. The amount of effort that goes in from
tremendous.
No, sorry, Sean. I couldn't ask you.
Well, I suppose at this particular time you have a lot of reading to do, Eilidh.
Oh my! Thank you, Sean.
Not at all.
Oh,
we must thank Evelyn.
I love it.
And Eilidh's going to be reading her Dear Ross book by Evelyn O'Rourke. Brendan is going to work on his tractor.
And you're going to edit the programme.
The programme for the new edition.
And I've been reminded that I'm editing this week, so I hope it turns out.
more things to do as well,
yeah,
Sean.
It's going to be a busy week. But other members of our LTV2 team, of course, will be with us in future weeks. But we work together as a triad tonight. 3 people producing the programme tonight. A troika. Oh yes, we were a troika. Brendan says in the background there, we were a troika tonight. Yeah. So at this particular point, we're ending programme 235 this week, and thank you all very much for joining us here for a very, very special week, St. Patrick's Week 2014.